Welcome. You're with the Nasty Pastor. I'm back with a full chapter read from Genesis. From out the Holy Bible that King James wrote. King James rewrote. The first book I'm reading from, is the first book, Genesis. Well, not the first book I'm reading from, but I'm reading from the first book in the Holy Bible, which is Genesis. And if haven't kept up with me and this is your first time viewing, there is the full reads of Revelations. Don't be scared. Don't be scared of it. It clearly says, he who reads is blessed. If you read Revelations, you are blessed. There's some stuff in there that's not understandable. There's some stuff in there that's scary. Go and read it. You say you're blessed, go and read it. You say you're the one, go and read it. I don't care what religion you fall up under. Go and read it. You say you're blessed, go and read it. I'm going to pressure you to read it. I've read it. I knew I was blessed before I read it. You got what I'm saying? This reading I'm doing, I've read Revelations maybe 3-4 times. Understand me? Get me? This is not the first time I've read it. Just the first time publicly I've read it. Get me? You're blessed. Understand? You're blessed. I love being blessed. You feel me? I love waking up in the morning. I love waking up to having all of my 6 senses. You feel me? Anywho, please go to my YouTube channel, like, subscribe, share, comment, and the YouTube channel is Only Faith Ministries. Let's go and get into chapter 21. And the title of chapter 21 is Isaac is Born. You know what Isaac is, right? Huh? You know what Isaac is? Isaac was supposed to be the person, the name, if I'm correct, that wrote in the Old Testament. There's a revelation in the Old Testament. It's the last book. And I believe that is the book that Isaac wrote about Revelations. And it's not going to take long to get there. It takes a lot of patience. It takes for you to commit yourself to following my readings, or you picking up a Bible and reading it yourself. You don't have to read at my pace, or you can read at my pace. It's up to you. Do yourself a favor. Do your children a favor. Do your mama a favor. Do your daddy a favor. You love your grandma? Because your grandma raised you, right? Nowadays, grandma, granddaddy raised you, right? Do your grandma a favor, because I know she sit there with the Holy Bible. I already know that one, you know what I mean? Go and do yourself a favor. And for those that got these young grandmas, you know what I mean, they sitting there without a Quran, without a Holy Bible, without anything. But I bet you, most of them understand religion. Most of them understand prayer. Don't matter whether they're active. Most of them understand it. And the Lord visited Sarah, and he had said, and the Lord did for Sarah as he had spoken, for Sarah conceived and bore Abraham a son in his old age, at the set time of which God had spoken to him. And Abraham called the name of his son who was born to him, who Sarah bore to him, Isaac. Then Abraham circumcised his son Isaac when he was 8 days old, as God had commanded him. Now Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born to him. And Sarah said, God has made me laugh, and all who hear with laugh with me. She also said, who would have said to Abraham that Sarah would nurse children, for I have borne him a son in his old age. Now, before we go on, you know what I mean, I want to either correct myself or you know what I mean, lay down the proof in Isaac being the author of the last book in the Old Testament. Well, we're in the book of Malachi, and that is the last book of the Old Testament, and this is supposed to be the revelation of Malachi. This is supposed to be the ending of the world, and Malachi wrote this book, or it's just called the book of Malachi. But somewhere in my travels, somewhere in my studies, you know, it was told to me that Isaac was the author of the last book of the Old Testament. Where I read it at, how I read it, I don't know. I can't remember it, but I'm glad I'm in the now correcting anything that I don't have to answer to later. So if you have a physical Bible, if you have an app of the Holy Bible, the last book in the Old Testament is called Malachi. And it says Malachi, a prophet in the days of Nehemiah, directs his message of judgment to the people plagued with corrupt priests, wicked practices, and a false sense of security in their privileged relationship with God. I ain't gonna go too much more into the introduction, because by the time I get here, I'm gonna be on fire. You understand me? I'm gonna be lit. I might can do this without picking up moving the pages. Cause if I can get through all that, you see that? That's a whole lot. That's a whole lot right there. Something gonna have to go into autopilot. Anywho, let's go and get back into chapter 21. Verse 8. Yeah, verse 8. The verse 8 starts off, and the title is Hagar and Ishmael depart. So the child grew and was weaned, and Abraham made a great feast on the same day that Isaac was weaned. And Sarah saw the son of Hagar, the Egyptian, whom she had borne to Abraham, scoffing. Therefore she said to Abraham, cast out this bondwoman and her son, for the son of this bondwoman shall not be heir with my son, namely with Isaac. And the matter was very displeasing in Abraham's sight because of his son. But God said to Abraham, do not let it be displeasing in your sight because of the lad or because of your bondwoman. Whatever Sarah has said to you, listen to her voice, for in Isaac your seed shall be called. Yet I will also make a nation of the son of the bondwoman, because he is your seed. So Abraham rose early in the morning and took bread and a skin of water, and putting it on her shoulder, he gave it and the boy to Hagar and sent her away. Then she departed and wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba. And the water in the skin was used up, and she placed the boy under one of the shrubs. Then she went and sat down across from him at a distance of about a bow shot. For she said to herself, let me not see the death of the boy. So she sat opposite him and lifted her voice and wept. And God heard the voice of the lad. Then the angel of God called to Hagar out of heaven and said to her, what ails you, Hagar? Fear not, for God has heard the voice of the lad where he is. Arise, lift up the lad and hold him with your hand, for I will make him a great nation. Then God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. And she went and filled the skin with water and gave the lad a drink. So God was with the lad, and he grew and dwelt in the wilderness and became an archer. He dwelt in the wilderness of Paran, and his mother took a wife for him from the land of Egypt. I'm going to pause right there before we get into verse 22. You know what I mean? A whole lot of, getting wives from Kemet, from Africa, and if you really ask me, because we dealing with the beginning of time, there wasn't people anywhere else. It's said that we landed in Africa. It's said that some came, changed the language to cause confusion. So overnight, an African became an Asian. Overnight, an African became a European. Overnight, an African became a Greek or Roman, Arab. You get me? Now are you following this? Now are you getting this? Verse 22 starts off, the title is A Covenant with Abimelech. And it came to pass at that time that Abimelech and Pichol, the commander of his army, spoke to Abraham, saying, God is with you in all that you do. Now therefore swear to me by God that you will not deal falsely with me, with my offsprings, or with my posterity, but that according to the kindness that I have done to you, you will do to me and to the land in which you have dwelt. And Abraham said, I will swear. Then Abraham rebuked Abimelech because of a well of water which Abimelech's servants had seized. And Abimelech said, I do not know who has done this thing. You did not tell me, nor had I heard of it until today. So Abraham took sheep and oxen and gave them to Abimelech, and the two of them made a covenant. And Abraham set 7 ewe lamps of the flock by themselves. Then Abimelech asked Abraham, what is the meaning of these 7 ewe lambs which you have set by themselves? And he said, you will take these 7 ewe lambs from my hand, that they may be my witness that I have dug this well. Therefore he called that place Beersheba, because the two of them swore an oath there. Thus they made a covenant at Beersheba. So Abimelech rose with Pichol, the commander of his army, and they returned to the land of the Philistines. Then Abraham planted a tamarisk tree and Beersheba, and Beersheba, and they are called on the name of the Lord, the everlasting God. And Abraham stayed in the land of the Philistines many days. That's the end of chapter 21. And hopefully you're following it. Hopefully you're understanding it. Hopefully you have reached a level of knowledge out of this holy Bible. Your soul is in this book. You get me? Your answers, your questions is in this book. Anywho, I am the Nasty Pastor. Please go to my YouTube channel, like, share, subscribe, comment. Got me? Comment. Engage. Look, I love you.